Oh! What is up with stickers that don't come off? You know that 3M makes some product for companies that they could use so that they peel right off, but apparently we're not using that. Hey there, gardening gang. So let's just talk about the calendar for a second. Most of us follow the same calendar, and I do too for most things in life, but my brain is on a different calendar. So let me just quickly tell you where my brain is most of the time. So if you start in spring, my brain is all about gardening. Gardening. Like what has to get done in the garden. It's full on obsessive gardening. Then you get into, say, maybe like July. And by July, I'm all about, there are other things that I do. I do some sailing, I do water sports, I do summer things, right? And so my brain starts shifting a little bit towards those things. Then we flip back to gardening for a little bit. But by the end of September, October, all of a sudden my brain switches into home mode. And this is when I get myself into trouble because I start seeing beautiful pictures. By the way, I'm highly influenced on Instagram, but I start seeing beautiful pictures of homes and I'm like, oh, we gotta buy all new rugs and change the chairs, and really have to restrain myself from doing that. Then we get into, late fall and I'm like, oh man, the holidays are coming, gotta get on to holidays. After the holidays though, beginning of the year, like the minute Christmas is over or maybe New Year's, my brain is fully focused on two things. One, organization. Everything must be organized. This is not a bad thing because the rest of the year is mostly like all the stuff has to sort of fend for itself because I am too busy focused on all those other things. The other thing is seeds. So that brings me to a seed organization video, and I am trying to be good. I will readily admit I take on way too much when it comes to seed starting. I go overboard. I never have enough room. I start way too many things, and yet I do it over and over and again. So I guess I've just learned to understand that that's how I'm going to be. I'm always going to do too much when it comes to seeds, whatever. But I got to have some organization. I am absolutely craving it. So before I am allowing myself to order all the new seeds that I want, I am going through what I already have and taking at least a mental inventory. I'm probably not going to be so organized as to like put it into a spreadsheet or something, but I'm going to take at least a mental inventory of what I have. So this is the seed storage solution I've been using for a couple of years now. This is the Seed Keeper. This is from a great company called Seed Keepers. Two women own this business and develop this product, and it's fabulous. So got little clips on it. You open it up. It's got little dividers that you can divide everything and organize everything. But here's the problem. I can't fit any more in it. And obviously, if I haven't even ordered seeds yet this year, I need to fit more things in it. For reference, I have all these are all seeds that I've saved, and I'm pretty sure there are other seeds that I saved somewhere too. So I got to deal with all these things too. So that brings me to these. There are two of them. First of all, this is not my idea. I got this idea from Deanna at Homestead and Chill, and I will link to her blog post on this storage solution because I think it makes a lot of sense. So this is actually, well, as you can tell from the label that will not come off, and I will have to go get some sort of Goo Gone situation to get that off. This is, I think, technically for photo storage. So when you open this little suitcase up, it's got 16 of these little plastic guys in it, but they just so happen to be perfect for seeds. And so what Deanna does is organize her seeds by type. And this makes so much more sense to me. So for instance, if you have a lot of kale, you could put all your kale in one, but you could also put, I'm trying to think of, like if you only had a few herbs, you could use one for herbs instead of one for basil, one for thyme, one for whatever. The other reason I like this idea is that I think it's going to be really easy to just take one of these out to the garden with me. So for instance, if I just want to go plant more lettuce, which is the thing that I find myself taking out to the garden all the time, I can just take the one little case with the lettuce in it, and instead of taking my whole thing with me or just pulling out all the lettuce packets, because I have a ton of lettuce usually. So this is what I'm going to be doing today, is using this system to reorganize everything. So why 2 cases? I am going to use one for flowers and one for vegetables because most flowers I sow inside ahead of time. There's a few exceptions, zinnias, cosmos, things like that. I tend to just direct sow. But most of my flowers I keep inside. So I don't need to carry, if I want to take my whole vegetable thing outside because I'm doing a whole bunch of sowing, I don't need to carry all the flowers along with it too. And I think I'm going to need more than just 16 for the whole seed stash here. So I'm going to divide one case into flowers, one case into vegetables, and see how we go here. While I'm here, I'm going to check the dates. Most seeds are viable a lot longer than you think they are. So you don't have to go buy new seeds every year. This is, I mean, it all tells you when it's sold by, but that is not when it's good till. Okay, we've got some arugula. These are flowers. I'm going to pull all the flowers out and do those separately. These are all flowers. We'll get to that. Beets are big because there's beans in bees. Beets, gotta have beets. They get their own container. Beans, I love green beans. I haven't found one yet that is like my absolute go-to. I think that Blue Lake is pretty established as one of the best beans out there. I tend to like the little French ones too that stay real skinny. Okay, so that, oh, this is gonna be a big mess by the time I'm done. Burgundy sprouted broccoli. I buy this because I want to make this. I never grow it. I'll keep it so I don't buy it again. More bush beans. I always grow bush beans. I should grow some pole beans. Basil, 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 basil. 3 types of basil here. Also known as 4 types of basil. I grow Thai basil as an ornamental, and I love it in the garden for that reason. I never eat it, although it's great to eat. It's just a little spicier than your typical basil. This year I'm going to keep these, but I'm going to be mostly growing a new kind of basil called Everleaf Emerald Towers. I had it last year. It was amazing and life-changing. See, this is why I need a better storage system, because look, I have 2 packages of the exact same basil. Cucumbers. So here's the thing with cucumbers, you guys. I really like crunchy cucumbers. I don't like big ones. I don't know who does. Chicago pickling is what I grow for a small cucumber, but I don't know if I'm even going to grow those this year because my go-to must-have, will always grow cucumber is this one. Again, I clearly have 2 packets of it. Chelsea Prize. It's long, skinny English cucumber, and it is so good just for eating raw or making. I make a lot of cucumber salad. Probably not the best pickling cucumber if you're into that, although I suppose you could do that. Fabulous cucumber. I don't know that I'll ever find another cucumber that I like better, and I'm not sure I'll bother trying, even looking for one. Okay, lettuce. If you want to start growing vegetables from seed, but you're nervous about it, just grow some lettuce. To me, lettuce is homegrown lettuce is life-changing. You can absolutely grow it in a pot. You can grow it. You don't need full sun for it. In fact, it's probably better if it's not in full, super, super hot sun. It doesn't taste like anything you'll ever be able to buy. It's so cheap. The only secret is keep sowing it. Don't sow like an entire pot's worth because it'll all be ready at one time. Sow once a week or every couple of weeks. And then if you use cut and come again types, you can just clip them and they'll regrow. I can't have enough. Last year we had such a sort of even temperature summer that I was able to grow lettuce all year long. I never had a gap. Sometimes if you're very in the heat of summer, lettuce doesn't work so well. Just grow lettuce. More lettuce. Maybe I don't need more lettuce. I have a lot of lettuce. See, it was all mixed up in there. Thank God I'm doing this, right? So if there was ever a vegetable that I never would have eaten until I grew it myself, it's kale. I thought kale was disgusting. And then I started growing it and I'm like, well, I might as well eat it, and now I love it. I particularly like the lacinato type. This is Black Magic and Dazzling Blue. Those are both sort of that dinosaur kale type, and they happen to be beautiful plants too. My favorite thing to do with, I pick it quick. I don't let it get too old. The tender leaves are, I think, better, at least during the year. It'll get sweeter after a frost, but I mostly am eating it during the summer. That's a must grow for me. There's lots of other great and beautiful kinds of kale. I also grow I grow edible types of kale as an ornamental, or I have in the past, and it's quite pretty. Oh, onions. I grew onions from seed for the first time last year, and I will link to a post I wrote about that because it was a fascinating experiment, and I'm definitely going to do it again. Plenty of seed comes in this. Onion seed apparently doesn't last super long, but this I just bought last year, and there's tons of seeds left, so I will definitely not need to buy onion seeds, especially when I have all of those. This is my favorite parsley. It's called Italian Gigante parsley. Very slow to bolt. Some years it goes all the way into fall for me. Produces great flavor. Again, another one that's sort of on my must-have list that I don't feel like I ever need to even really look for a replacement for unless someone has a very compelling argument. Favorite peppers to grow is called Mad Hatter. It's an AAS award winner. If you're not familiar with AAS winners, it stands for All American Selections, and it's a program in which these plants are trialed all over the country, and they're trialed against what is perceived to be some of the best in its category. So it truly is looking for the best in its category. It's been going on for ages, well, many decades. And you will see that sometimes on seeds. If you are comparing two very similar plants, go with the All-American Selection winner. That'd be my recommendation, at least, because these are things that have been trialed in a lot of places. And I think it's one way to ensure that you're going to be finding the best variety that you can. Peas, sugar sprints. I've never really found a pea that I only like sugar snap peas. I haven't found one that I absolutely love. If you have a great pea that I should try, let me know, because I'm on the hunt. Squash is going to get its own thing. I only have this. I might have some zucchini in here. I grew winter squash last year, and I loved it. So I am going to grow a lot more winter squash. Well, as much as I can afford in terms of room. You guys, I have all these. These are all tomatoes. I don't know what I'm going to pick, but I probably don't need to buy more tomatoes. Tomato seeds last a long time. So if you've got some, and really, I've had amazing germination with tomato seeds. So every year I grow about twice as many as I need because I'm making sure that I have good germination. I end up giving all those extras away. In terms of tomatoes, I don't know exactly what I'm going to grow this year. I have a few favorites, but last year I grew several of the dwarf varieties from the Dwarf Tomato Project. And they were pretty spectacular, and the plants weren't so ginormous. Same size fruit, but smaller plants. So a note on this organization, I don't really know how this is going to develop, but it seems a little ridiculous to have a whole thing just for eggplant. I don't grow a ton of eggplant. I like this little one. This one is a container eggplant called Little Prince. It makes little like baseball-sized fruit, and they're good. I don't know that requires its whole own container. So if I find that I need to divide some of the categories I have here, I will maybe make like a miscellaneous category and put eggplant in with that. Okay, onto flowers. Before we go into flowers, I think this is an optimal time to just talk briefly about GMO seeds. GMO is a big topic of discussion, especially on the internet. And I'm not going to get into my thoughts on GMO, but I am going to tell you that what you need to know is that as a home gardener, there is no GMO seed that you will be able to buy in terms. Hey, before I move on to flowers, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about GMO seeds because there is a lot of confusion about them out there. And I know when you open up your catalogs, in fact, hang on, I bet you I'll find one. Okay, sure enough. And you will probably find this in every catalog that you get. Here it is right here, GMO free. Here's the thing, you guys. They're all GMO free. Home gardeners can't buy GMO seeds. Not properly. anyways. So all of the seeds you find in your seed catalog, you don't have to worry about it. They are not going to be genetically modified, but you can't buy it. So the two things that are most genetically modified often are soybeans and corn, and it's not sweet corn usually, it's field corn. And I don't really know anybody who grows soybeans, but legally, if they are being sold to you as a home gardener, they will not be GMO. If you go through some weird back channel and have a farmer order your seeds for you, you go to some feed supply store and say you're a farmer, whatever, you could end up with GMO, I guess, if you really tried. But the point is, don't worry about the GMO thing. You're not going to be able to buy them as a home garden, at least as I speak right now. Okay, on to flowers. So I've got enough sweet peas that sweet peas will be their own thing. And this is a good thing. You usually only get about... You only get about 10 seeds per sweet pea pack, so most of these have like 1 or 2 in them. So I'm just gonna give them their own thing, but I will definitely have to order, actually, I said I wasn't gonna order any seeds before I did this, but I did already order sweet pea flowers. So, zinnias. I will tell you guys, I have a love-hate relationship with zinnias. I love zinnias. They don't grow that well for me. I finally gave up on trying to start them early, at least in cells, because they did not work for me. They seem to work best direct sowed. I did have some luck last year growing a whole bunch of them in a small pot and then teasing them out. That did seem to work a little bit, but direct sow for me seems to be the way to go with zinnias, which is probably not a bad thing because I certainly have plenty of other things to be starting elsewhere. One of my must-have, must-grow that I think everybody should grow, things from seed is nasturtium, because they are easy to grow. They're easy for kids to grow because they are a bit nice. Here, do you see how big those seeds are? A kid can hold these seeds. You can't hand a kid a Nicotiana seed or Nicotiana. We still don't know. This, I don't know if you can even see the dust that is, this is like a speck of dust. But you can have a kid do these. I soak them first. It helps them break down. There's a really hard seed coat on there, so if you soak them. I used to do a long time. Now I do pretty warm water for like 3 hours. I don't know. They don't seem to go bad no matter what you do, so don't overthink it. I also use nasturtiums as a plant that if I've got some holes in my garden, I just plunk a couple of nasturtium seeds in there and it'll fill the gaps. Nicotiana is another one of those seeds that I absolutely grow. It's very easy to grow from seed, except for the fact that the seed is like dust. So it can be really hard to get it sown evenly, and it's very easy to oversow. I always sow that one ahead of time. It does reseed itself easily in the garden, so it would probably do fine. It's just that it's so fine, I don't know how you'd manage keeping track of it. So I have a lot of seed that I saved myself last year, and I'm gonna put those in little envelopes too. Just make sure that you label your envelopes and make sure you always put a year on them so that if you come back to this in a few years, you know whether that seed is still gonna be viable or not. Stop. Thank you for that, Odin. Good boy. So the label maker came in super handy for labeling these. It's also what I use to make my plant tags when I actually make plant tags, which I am trying to be better about. The tape on those has lasted forever. I have plant tags that are 13 years old, all from that same label maker, which is also that old, so it has certainly come in handy if you can get your cat to stay away from it. So they are all labeled, they're all organized, they are even alphabetized right now, which probably won't last once I start pulling them out of there and putting them in, because things go to heck quickly during gardening season. But this makes the organizational part of me just sing. I love how organized and nice this is, and I hope this system is going to work out well for me. So anyways, that is how I'm organizing my seeds this year and hopefully for the foreseeable future. And if you have some great ideas on seed storage, I'd love to hear them. Oh, by the way, I will keep these 2 boxes in my basement. The thing with seeds is generally cool and dry is a good place to keep them. My basement is cool, and inside of here, they will be nice and dry. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how I'm storing my seeds this year and hopefully for the foreseeable future. Do check out the description box below where I'll have links to everything I used, as well as a link to Deanna's article on this method of seed storage, which I think is really clever. And I guess I'm gonna now go try to take these stupid labels off. Hey, if you like this video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And if you wanna be notified when I post a video, hit that little bell, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, it's me. I'm back. So just looking at the vegetables, I noticed I did not alphabetize these. I alphabetized the flowers, but I never got over to the vegetables. So when I said I alphabetized them, you probably thought I was really stupid because I hadn't. So I'll go do that now. A, B, better.